Hello and welcome to the Design+Style podcast, a podcast for designers by designers. And I am your co-host, Rachel Moriarty. I was going to say your hostess with the mostest, but I do have a co-host. I'm Rachel with Rachel Moriarty Interiors, and I have the lovely
Dixie with Dixie Willard Design.
So we are just going to have a chat today, Dixie and I.
Right.
We have the Google Doc. We're uber prepared. We like, to have these points that we talk about. Sorry, I'm moving stuff on my screen while I talk. But sometimes we just need to hash things out.
That's right.
We feel like hashing today.
I do. It's a hashing kind of day.
It's sort of a hash kind of day,
Hashtag. That's completely different.
No, hash hole. Have you heard of hash holes?
Hash holes. Yes. Yes. Don't be a hash hole.
Don't be a hash hole. And what we're hashing out today, and we were about to get into it off camera, not into it like, we're fighting or something like that. We don't do that ever yet.
No.
We might get in a
fight at some point. No, when are we going to have our first argument?
I know. How are we going to make up with each other? We got to learn to speak each other's love languages so we know how to make up with each other. But we started talking about our ever-shifting and evolving businesses and our ever-shifting and evolving ideal clients.
Yep.
My ideal client, when I first started my business, I'm not certain that it was necessarily different. I just didn't have the experience to know that they will always evolve. Like, you may do a project and be like, I love that. Like, I thought I didn't love kitchens. Right. I love kitchens. That's what I'm going to go for, which is kind of where Dixie's sort of heading into the kitchen and bath, dipping her toe in.
And even
a little more.
What project I'm working on right now, we're at the point where I'm helping them do their lighting. And I forgot how much I like looking at lines on a piece of paper and putting little dots for all of the. I love drawing lighting plans. It sounds calculating how many lumens they need.
You're a lumen geek.
I'm a lumen geek. I really am. Oh my God. But, I forgot how much I enjoy this stage, because at one point I thought, well, I just want to do e-design basically. And I can do it, but it just wasn't really.
If it's not lighting you up, you have to shift. And that's the thing. And if you're working with clients that aren't lighting you up, it's the same exact thing.
Yes.
It's something that I do, I would say, every about 3 months. And it's not something I calendar every 3 months, but I notice that I sort of, where am I at? What have I been focusing on? And, we are solopreneurs. We are social media experts of our own businesses. And it's important that we're talking to the right people, that we're targeting the right people. So we were just about to get ready. That's why we started this podcast, because of these conversations that Dixie and I have. We come from such different places, maybe different sides of the brain even, that our approaches to the same things don't always look the same. So I don't know what Dixie's about to say, and she doesn't know what I'm about to say.
It's going to be fun for everyone.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about, I do a lot of my targeting on Facebook live streams. So what I'm doing is narrowing down who I'm talking to. I want to make sure I'm talking to the right person. And so I'm doing a couple of series. This week I'm doing a series called At Your Service, where I'm talking about not only my services, but letting people know a little bit about me so that they know if we're a good fit.
Absolutely.
They have the upper hand because they get a lot of Rachel. They can go and consume a lot of me to know if they want to work with me or not. So I have to be really careful to make sure that I'm talking to people that I want to contact me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and
So,
that's with everybody. Everything you're posting,
oh,
you want to,
absolutely.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you don't want people to say, Rachel, I'm getting ready to build this house.
I'll be like, run.
No, not me. And similarly, if someone says, Dixie, I have this bookshelf or anything else, I'm sorry, the bookshelf is my fallback, my go-to when it comes to things.
Tabletop,
Yeah.
tablescapes,
Oh my, oh,
mantlescapes,
my,
anything with the word scape at the end.
yeah, no. Landscape, I really don't want to do because I'll end up killing
Exactly.
all the plants. So
You'll die. You'll actually die.
yeah, probably.
Allergies.
But yeah, I don't even know what I was going to say, but having what I know what I'm going to say. So when you're thinking about the ideal client that you want, I don't know about you, but I'm a researcher. And so I do a lot of research.
No, I am not a researcher.
I know.
I'm a flower.
I do a lot, like probably way too much, but I know a lot about my ideal client. And then I took it and I actually have two different vision boards. So one of my vision boards for my ideal client is just words that describe her.
Okay.
And in fun fonts that really show what that
Wow. I'm
means and
taking
makes a bigger
notes.
impact.
I might do that.
Having a vision board is really great. The other thing that I did is I did a vision board of what her life is like.
Okay.
So everything from the type of clothes she wears to the type of activities she likes to do to the type of house she would want to have are all on the secondary board. So, and I've got them both there together so that I can look at them. I don't do it as often as I want to, but one thing that I figured out a while back, all of those pictures that are on my ideal client board, I have a file on my computer and I just made that my screensaver. So it's constantly popping up. Like anytime my screen, instead of going dark, it starts showing me my ideal client.
You're all.
Yeah. You get real clear real fast. You start seeing that all the time. You're like, yeah, no, I don't want that one. Or yes, I need more of this. So
That's
for me,
really
that's
good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm in a weird place right now because I have my ideal client. And it's almost like, when you have something and you don't want to lose it?
Yes.
That's where I'm at. So I'm in this thing where I'm like, I can't keep a tight grip. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like, oh my gosh, everything is just so perfect. Like I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose
Yes.
it. So I guess I've done a pretty good job of branding and not branding, but what is the word I'm looking for? Not communicating.
I think it's kind of all of those things.
It is all of those. Projecting. I like to use the word magnetizing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like that.
So I actually like to magnetize things to me, not in the and I'm not knocking what do you call it? Law of attraction, because I believe in a lot of the principles of law of attraction. But for you and I, we're you know what I mean. We would probably use more of the language that would go with a Christian, speak things into being, and
right.
You know what I mean. They're very aligned. Actually, it's just it's kind of a little bit of a language thing, if it only. But so what I do is I actually have a thing, and I'm going to be doing a series on this called "We're a Match Made in Heaven If."
Oh.
So
I like that.
I know. It's so funny to hear. Like I'm all taking notes on what you wrote, what you do. And when I open because I'm a journaler, you're a journaler
Yep.
too. When I open a, a blank page on my journal and write "We're a match made in heaven if," it
Mm-hmm.
helps me flow because I'm a
Mm-hmm.
flower. Um, and so some of the things that I put on there is, I'm just looking at my thing right now. So obviously, like, you have to be an optimistic person. You have to be a positive thinker.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely no Debbie Downers in my world.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just like even an energy thing. Like if you have this
Mm-hmm.
like spirally energy, I pick up on that too much. I can't have that like in my realm at all. Um, People that value my time. That is a
Absolutely.
huge thing for me because I've had clients that, they think sort of they can just, you'll be there at the drop of a hat.
Those
Then you
boundaries.
send them an invoice and
Huh?
they're like, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, you said be
Mm-hmm.
here in 5 minutes and I was, you know
Yep.
what I mean? And so they just think that because they're paying you whatever that you're just at their beck and call.
Right. And
Um,
that's not true.
that's not true, and that is the person that I want to work with. I definitely, and I front load that with them. I let them know that I value my time, or I value your time, but I also value my time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's one of the things that I write. We're a match made in heaven if you value my time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we're a match made in heaven if you see me giving more value than you've actually paid.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want people to think like, wow, she was worth it in every penny, which is such worth it
Yes.
and more, or something
Yes.
like that, which is some of the testimonials that I get. Like, she was worth every penny. She was worth it
Mm-hmm.
and more. That is exactly how I want my clients to feel. I don't
Right.
want them to feel like, oh my God, she overcharges, or,
Yeah, no.
you know what I mean? I mean,
Exactly.
obviously, nobody would want that, but, I want them to know that I have their back, that we're a good fit if they know that I have their best interest at heart,
Mm-hmm.
if they know, and that's one of the things I front load too, is that I will be a good steward of their money, that I
Yes.
will,
Mm-hmm.
that I respect their budget no matter what it is. And we're a great match if they're open and honest with me. Like, I've had clients that are afraid to give me feedback on a concept board,
Uh-huh.
and I
They
can't
don't like something, but they're scared to tell you.
and I can't work with that person, and I don't want to work with that person anymore. I have, so that's not a good match for me. And so I view redesigning a home as self-care.
Mhm.
And so if I have somebody that is open enough and values themselves, like, because some people put themselves so far at the bottom of the list that they
Right.
cannot spend the money to like create a nice environment for themselves, or sometimes they have this weird voice in their head. You've probably come across this where they're like, who do I think I am hiring a designer?
Mhm.
Maybe it's a mom's voice or somebody, from the past. And they really just keep themselves low on the totem pole. And I can't work with that person.
And I think that's one of the things that we have in common because for me, it's about making sure that your environment is, whether it's a new home or a redesign, that your home is the one that you need to make your life better.
Right.
So
Right.
I'm right there with you on that one.
Yeah. And somebody that wants, like, one of my things is we're a good fit if you want your story told in your home,
Yes.
not your sister-in-laws, not
Hmm.
your best friends. Like, you are okay just forging your own path, and it's going to look like you, and however weird or quirky, or you know what I mean, it's gonna, or unique, like they're fine with that. They don't want
Exactly.
the Joanna Gaines home if they live at the beach. They don't, you know what I mean? And you're like, some people I meet want that farmhouse look, but they're here in San Diego,
Right. It
like
doesn't
5 minute
quite.
drive from the beach. It's just like there's no alignment,
Mhm.
you know? And yeah, so that's some of the things that I write down. I mean, I am looking at, even they pay me up front and on time.
Yes.
Huge, huge.
Okay, I'm just going to throw this out here. That should be a requirement for every single person who's listening to this podcast or watching it. Your clients should pay you on time. Your ideal client should always be the one to pay you.
I have a client right now that is so she can't pay me enough. Like
Mm-hmm.
she keeps saying, I'm sitting on this slush. If you want more money, let me
Yep.
know, or my husband gets paid weird. He just got paid, so I'm going to send you some money. And, I am a money magnet, so I'm like, send it on over. I will
Mm-hmm.
keep track of it. I will let you know every penny, like I don't have a problem. Go ahead, send it to me.
Yep. Yep.
I am not, because I have had clients that I have gotten that my check is lost in the mail multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, really? That's weird. Um, oh, I forgot. I was going to. Oh, I'm sorry. I had my checkbook out. I left it where my keys are. You know what I mean? And that it makes me feel horrible, you
Well,
know?
I would say too that part of finding your ideal client is to feel free to say no to the people who are not your ideal client. And that's hard sometimes. It's you've got money staring you in the face theoretically, and you're like, well, I could do this job and make some money, but it may end up being just absolutely miserable and so not worth the money or it could be some other. I guess what I'm trying to say is you should always listen to your heart when it comes to things like that. You know who you want, and that's who you should take on. Don't take on just anybody just because.
Well, that's what I think is important. And I think that's what you and I are trying to, exactly what you said. And just to
Mhm.
like piggyback on that. Um,
You have money on the brain, piggy bank.
Money magnet. One of the lines is, my clients are happy to pay the price of my services. So
Mm-hmm.
we're a perfect match if you're happy to pay the price. So if I get that client that even kind of says, oh, well, let me talk to my husband, or, oh, that sounds like a lot. If they can't pay for the service, then how are they going to pay for the rest of it?
Right.
Because the
Yep.
service is just one part. How are you going to pay for the furnishings, or how are you going to pay for this?
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe you have the money, but you just don't value my service.
Right.
And not like my service, but you think it should be free, or you think it should be less, or you think it should be, you know what I mean? And so just that line keeps me clear when I get that little like, oh, that little like, whatever. I've had clients that don't have a big budget, but they'll say, hey, I know you're about your hourly is about 200 and something. If I can pay that, is it okay if I like only have $1,000 for accents, and you can go to like Home Goods and
Mm-hmm.
use what I have? And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
So they'll pay the bulk on the design services. Like, they really want me to come in and help them. And basically that's almost like what I call my makeover, my room makeover
Right.
service.
Mm-hmm.
But they're happy to pay for the service. They just cut a little bit on what they are able to spend, because
Right.
they've seen my work. They know I can do so much with,
And
even a small budget.
that's kind of what the idea of having a designer is, that you spend the money on the designer services so that you can get the biggest bang for your buck. But speaking of people who kind of go, oh, when you tell them your price, last week I had a client that I was sat down for an initial consultation and outlining what the contract was going to be and what my services were going to be. And then for some reason, I had a little bit of a brain fart when it came to when I was telling her the price. And so I said, well, I can do all of this for $1040. And her eyes got this big. And she was like, $10,040. I was like, oh my gosh, no, 1,040. She's like, oh, yeah, I can do that.
Maybe that's what we need to do. And say, that'll be about
Shock the
30.
hell out of them
Be
first.
like, that'll be about 30, and they're all 30,000. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I meant 3,000.
Yeah.
3,000. Exactly. And they're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Easy.
I don't know
Easy,
what
easy.
I was thinking that day, but it just kind of went bloop. And the look on her face was that look that you never want to see.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no way I can afford you.
Yeah, exactly. That is so funny. So, oh my gosh, this is terrible for podcasting, but I think I feel a sneeze coming on.
God bless you. Now it won't happen.
Kazoo tight.
It never fails. If I tell somebody bless you ahead of time, they don't sneeze. You just sit there with that miserable tickle feeling in your nose for forever.
But this gave me time to look at my list.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things, too, is decisive.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Yes.
I cannot stand working with somebody who is not decisive. I don't know how you figure that out in the beginning, but I'm just done. But you know what I'm finding out, and the more I work with my ideal client, is she is a professional woman.
Right.
And she is already probably at like VP executive status anyway. And even the early boomers who, held really high positions, but are still busy. I find the busier the person is, the quicker they can make decisions. Yeah. Even if they're busy in retirement.
I would say that you can kind of tell whether or not they're decisive when it comes to like setting an appointment with them.
Yeah.
If they're like, well, I don't know what's best for you, and there's a lot of give and take to it.
Yeah.
That's usually a sign that they're not going to be quite as
decisive.
Yeah. Because if they're able to go, well, I'm available on Mondays and Wednesdays at this time.
Like, that's it.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's the kind of thinking that I need.
Exactly.
Where I say, okay, you can have this or this. Which one do you like? And they're like, that one, done.
Absolutely. I'm trying to see anything else that I have. Do you have anything?
Does your ideal client have a name?
No.
Mine does. My ideal client's name
is not a Hobbit name, is it?
Oh.
Well, you said you had your...
I know. That was my pretend client. For those of you who don't know, when we talked about e-design, I said that I had a pretend client for my Doma studio, and it was Bilbo Baggins, and he lived in the Hobbit hole.
And I had no idea who Bilbo Baggins is or whatever.
Which just shows how much of a nerd I am. No, I gave my client, my actual ideal client, not my little pretend Hobbit hole client. Her name is Megan, because think about, for me, giving her a name kind of embodied her. Like she's almost a physical thing now. And when you talk to people, I've talked to my networking group, when I gave my 10-minute talk about who I'd like to work with, I just told them about Megan. I was like, this is what Megan does. This is how she is. This is what she needs. And they were like, oh my gosh, because everybody knows a Megan.
Everybody knows a Megan. I need another name. You need to research some names for me, since you're a researcher. Did you research that name?
You know what's funny is I did a lot of research on names, and I didn't pick any of them.
Oh, really? It just came to you?
It just came to me.
Like everything else?
Yep.
What else do I have? They have to be creative. They have to have, in their own way.
Right.
They have to be open-minded and fun to collaborate with. So I like, and maybe it's because my design process starts a little bit further down the road, usually with a couple of things that people own. You're doing that thing where I thought you were frozen.
I'm sorry.
I was like, double.
It's because I'm holding my breath in anticipation of what you're going to say.
It's every time you hold your breath, huh?
It really is.
It really is. I was like, I start to panic. I'm all.
We've got a great, knock on wood, we've got a great internet connection today.
I know. What was I even saying? Now I'm thrown off. What was I saying? What were you holding your breath for?
Collaborate with.
Yes. So I like people that, they already have that thing. It's a jumping off point for me.
Mhm.
Um, they have ideas,
Yeah.
it's like they have a point of view. I think it's a point of view is what I'm looking
Mhm.
for, and it's like, it sometimes takes me to places that I hadn't thought of,
Yeah.
which I love. And
Me too.
collaboration, is one of my love
Yeah.
language words. That's why I love me a podcast co-host. Um, yeah, so I need to name her though. I definitely need to name her.
Yeah. It makes it, I have to say, seeing pictures of who she is and what she does and having a name for her, it has really crystallized in my mind and made it a lot easier to say no to the people who aren't my Megan.
Megan, what does she drive?
Maybe a little car like mine.
Fancy
A
one that
Civic Coupe.
hmm, maybe.
So I, for me, it's something that's practical but fun.
Yeah.
So I don't see her driving generally. Now I'm going to say this, and anybody who's my client is going to go, but that's what I drive. I don't see her driving a minivan.
No, mine definitely doesn't
Mm-mm.
drive a minivan.
So,
Mine's more in the
mm-hmm,
realm of things.
mm-hmm,
Um, yeah, so that, just to like recap, we went there. We went down the rabbit's
yep.
hole on that. But it's
We
important.
never do that, Rachel.
Never.
There are no rabbit holes around here.
It's so important. I mean, whether you're Dixie talking to Megan or
Mhm.
me, knowing that we're a match made in heaven. If when
Right.
I'm having those initial discovery calls with somebody or I meet somebody, I will literally let off the gas
Mm-hmm.
if I just like those things aren't ticked and I meet somebody somewhere and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a designer. I'm not gonna sell myself to them. Not that I sell myself to anybody, but I'm not gonna try to magnetize them to
Mm-mm.
me.
Yeah,
I'm
I
going to
would
pull
agree.
off the gas a little bit and
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go, and it helps you. It helps you because otherwise you are just, I hate to say this. I don't even think this is a thing anymore, but like used car salesmen,
Oh,
like that,
yeah.
like, I don't even know if they're like that anymore.
No.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's like, I don't want to be that person that's just, chatting everyone up. If I just was making a chomping hand, was I looked like I was chomping people up.
Well,
Um,
I even at one of the chamber events I went to the other day, there was somebody there who hopefully is not listening to this podcast. But this guy was like, the second he met you, he was like, "Oh, hi, I'm so and so. I do this, and this is my card, and you should do this." And did it. And I'm like,
lay off, dude. Lay off. No.
magnetize somebody else.
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
Don't be
That's
like that guy.
yeah. Yeah. I can't. I couldn't anyway. But I've been in positions where you have to when you're working at a furniture place and it's your
Ugh.
up.
And that's why I hated working there, was because for
Uh-huh.
me, I need the connection
You
of
had to
having my ideal client.
Yeah, you had to work with whoever walked in the door, and it was your turn to approach that
And
walk-in.
had to suit your personality to fit theirs instead of
Mhm.
just finding somebody who fits you.
Yeah, exactly.
And actually,
So,
that's kind of what it's all about, is finding the people that suit your personality so that you can just do you. You don't have to worry about being anybody else for
mhm.
anybody else. Just do what you do.
Do what you do. When you're communicating on social media, whether you're a live streamer like me, a podcaster like us, or, Instagram's your jam, um, make sure that everything you do is talking to your Megan,
Yes.
whoever your Megan is, or my nameless person,
We will find her a name.
my nameless match made in heaven.
I feel like
That
she should have an exotic name. So whenever you're thinking
I think
of
she's got
that,
a French name. I think I'm going to meet her at Maison
I
AFJ
think
one day.
there you go. That's what you need to do.
We are so bad.
I know.
But it's so important, isn't it? I mean, I feel like you and I have only launched a couple of years out. We're a couple of years down the launching after our launches,
Hmm.
and we just keep niching and narrowing and pivoting. Are you
Yeah.
breathing? Oh, I was like,
No, this time I'm not
is
holding
that
my breath in
your dog?
anticipation. Can you hear her?
Just one little bark. Ugh, another one, and another one.
Sadie wants to talk.
So anyway, just to wrap, figure out, spend the time. How do you do that? So I am quiet time in the morning with my journal.
Hmm.
It's when I spend my time visioning. How do you said you start by researching. So is that like
Usually. Well,
Pinterest? Like how do
sometimes,
you research?
um, actually, I get into demographics and what.
Girl, what?
I know, and that's
What are
my
you
rabbit hole. But
talking
for me,
about?
the thing that works the best, I'll be perfectly
Okay.
honest, is to think about the people that I have already worked with successfully in the past.
Okay.
So, despite all of the research that I did
Yeah.
initially,
Yeah.
the thing that has been the best was going, okay, who did I love working with? Oh, yeah. What qualities did I love about them? That's what I want Megan to have. And
Yeah.
it's different clients have different things, and I've just kind of taken all of them because if I'm going to have an ideal client, by golly, she's going to be ideal.
Ideal.
Yes.
Exactly.
Take all those qualities, mash them up together, and that's my Megan.
And then you found the things that represent her on
Mhm.
like Pinterest or Google or what?
I tend to just, it started, that was the other research that I did was like finding out, okay, if so and so likes this on Facebook, what else might they like? So
Mm,
that helped. And then I just Googled pictures that represented the things that she would
yeah.
like
Yeah.
and do.
I'm interested to meet Megan one day.
I am too.
Your Megan.
Yeah,
I wonder. And I think you should never maybe meet your Megan.
I know.
Like you should always,
It
I
should
think
be
Megan will,
ruined for the rest of your
I
life.
know, Megan will always evolve, I think, too.
Yeah,
Because you'll be like, oh, I thought I wanted Megan to have that, but mm-mm.
hmm. And it's okay to change your ideal client.
Oh my gosh,
You're not
yes.
stuck.
You are not stuck. This is all you. This is all visioning,
Hmm.
and I think that's super important for people. I think people get locked up over stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, if I vision this,
And I have to do
I
that.
might get it. And that's a good thing.
Yes.
And it
Very
can
much so.
change. And if you get it and you don't like it, you can
Hmm.
change, you know? It's better than not, just going all loosey goosey, and
Yeah.
just,
You don't want to try and market to everybody because ugh, it's miserable. Trust us. We know it's miserable.
yeah. You don't want to be all things to everyone. You want to
Mm-mm.
do your thing, be an expert at that, and
Yep.
have people value that.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that's where we're going to end it because
I think
otherwise we're going to
so.
go down another rabbit hole we didn't mean to.
And that was kind of the perfect ending.
It was. Thank you for listening today to Design and Style. We'll see you. What?